Okay, so let's get into example one. So we're going to look at our example one, which looks at all the single price methods, and it's got a little example. Okay, so this is the example. You will see this is the drawing. You will find the necessary measurements on this side illustrated here. So try and follow with this. Unfortunately you'll have to go through it again and again to see what how it works and to get comfortable with it. Okay, so let's get into it. Estimate the cost of the proposed new office building from the cost data obtained from the historical office building. Use the unit, area, and cube methods to calculate the historical tariffs, the area one as well. How can these estimates be improved? So we're going to do this question in in a second part, but we're going to look at the basics for now. So the historical cost data is not necessarily realistic for the given items, but serves to demonstrate a few points. So the new office building is to be constructed on a level site with only a wire fence on the earth boundary. Okay, so it's a very simple installation. There's nothing special on the external works. So let's look at example one. So you've got your historical data, which is given there on page 1.11. So please have a look at that. You're given all of that information. I think the total cost is calculated at 3.9 million. Please have a look at that. So the accommodation unit for the historical building is calculated as best described as an office. Okay, so to determine a unit tariff per office, we calculate and we count basically how many offices there are. So 8 offices. Note, only offices are counted because of an office is the accommodation unit for an office building. So like the tea rooms, the toilet facilities and all of that is excluded, so just mind that. So please note, so you get to your calculation cost excluding P's and G's and VAT. Okay, excluding P's and G's and VAT. Make sure that you know what P's and G's are, preliminaries and general. I've explained that in class as well, and it's also in your notes. So your historical unit tariff is basically just this amount divided by 8. So you get your unit tariff of 401,875 Rand per office. Okay, so very straightforward for now. Okay, so estimate of the estimate for the new building. Then all that you do is you take your office of your new building. So we've got 4 new offices in our new building. So what we take is our number of offices times it with our unit rate, and to get our new estimated cost before P's and G's and VAT. Okay, please note that I'm using 14% here. It's just because of the example. I forgot to change it to 15% before the time, so I'm just running with the 14% for now, just to get some of the work out for you. So obviously in all of your exams and everywhere else it will be 15% as the standard VAT rate. Okay, so we've got our estimated calculation here of our new construction cost. We add 8% P's and G's to this. Usually we work on a 10%, so these examples has 8%. It's basically just to show you that it may change up and down. But usually if I do not provide it, or if you're in doubt, use 10%. Same with your contingencies here. Whenever there's nothing provided, rather use a 10% of contingencies. That is a standard rate that everyone's familiar in the industry, so you're more than welcome to use that. So you get your new subtotal, and then you add your contingencies to that, and then you've got your subtotal. Just note your contingencies is this item that's always added when you do an estimate, because you're not 100% sure of what the cost would be. So you always add a bit of a contingency just to allow for the unforeseen. Okay. And the only place where you won't have a contingency is when you get to your final account. That is when the project is done and dusted, and all the expenses has been paid and agreed with, or with all the parties. Okay, so very basically, so you've got your subtotal, you add your VAT to that, and you have your total estimated amount. Okay, so that's our unit estimation. So 1.2 is our area method. So that firstly you need to be able to calculate your area. So make sure that you get the right calculations here. So your total building area of the historical office building is 9 times what is this, 33, 32 to get 288 square meters. Note that the open parking area is excluded due to the definition of the term building area. Okay, so please make sure that you're familiar with that. I think I've explained that also. Okay, then it's the same process. Then you take your historical area tariff, excluding your P's and G's and your VAT, divided by the 288 to get to the 11,163 Rand per square meter. Okay, when you have that, then you calculate your new building area. Okay, so make sure that you are familiar how to calculate or measure these items, and then calculate your total square meter area. You times that with your new, or with your area tariff that you calculated. You add P's and G's to it, and you add your contingencies to it, and then your VAT, and then you have your new total estimated cost. Okay, so very straightforward doing this. This is basically what we did in class already. Okay, then we get to our area or cube method. So okay, we're going to look at that little formula that I've spoken about, but there's a little bit more to the cube method than just the normal calculations that we did now earlier. Okay, note that instead of using the average top level of the foundations to determine the height, it is better to use each area's own foundation top level separately. Assume that 200 by 700 strip foundation are used, and that the foundation excavations is 700 millimeters deep throughout. So if you go through your examples, just make sure all that that's basically saying here is whenever you use your cube method, it's better to try and calculate the different areas or the different volumes separately whenever you're doing your calculation. So it will be explained now. Okay, so your estimated cost cube method is your office building, and you've got a conference center. Okay, so basically what you've got is you've got your area, then you calculate your height of your ceiling. So I'm going to explain the little trigonometry formula that you need to know as well, so you will have to practice this, fortunately. So what the dimensions basically said is we've got a 700 millimeter below the to the bottom of our strip footing, so it's deduct our strip footing to get to the top of our strip footing. So if we've got our natural ground level here, and then we've got our strip footing, which is here, basically what you want is you want this height here. Okay, and so you just subtract that 250 mil, which is here. Okay, so that's all that's happening on this side. Okay, so then you add the top of your ceiling heights, and then what you need to calculate now is the middle of your roof height. So basically if you do this, you want to calculate the total height, which is there. I'm just going to use blue. So you want to calculate your top height from there to there, and if you divide that by 2, you will get this little section that you need to add to your height. Okay, so hence the half that you calculate there. Okay, so you do your calculation. I'm going to on the next slide it's going to be explained nicely, this section. And then you've got your conference hall, which is now a flat roof. If you look at your drawing, which is on page 1.10, you will see that you've got a flat concrete roof here. So then you just use the rule of the 0.6 above your flat roof. Okay, so you still have that section there, and then you've got your 1.5 meters, and then you have your 2.4 of your normal ceiling height of your building, and then you add your 0.6 to that. Okay, so that is how you calculate your volume for the conference center. So, and in your volume for your office building. Okay, so you can see it's a little bit more calculations involved. Okay, just to get back to your trigonometry calculations, I'm going to put this trigonometry like a cheat sheet on Blackboard for you, but just for this calculation, I'm putting these on. So basically why you use tan is you've got your opposite over your adjacent. So you've got your if you've got that one there, you want to calculate your height, which is there. So what you've got is your opposite over your adjacent. So that is the ones that you've got this distance and you've got your angle there. So you want to calculate your opposite. So you want to calculate your opposite on that side. Okay, so what you've got is this. So you've got your angle here, and then you've got your adjacent and opposite there. So this is the one that you're looking for. So you've got this distance here, which is marked on the drawing, which is your 9 meters divided by 2. So your building is 9 meters wide. You divide it with 2 to get your adjacent, and then and then you've got your 20 degrees here. Okay, and then you calculate your opposite on that side. Okay, unfortunately I won't be able to help you with how you use it on your calculator, because each calculator will have it differently. So please make sure that you are familiar and that you do get to the right amount when doing this. There's also nice explanations on the internet also for this, but for our calculation this is basically what you do. Okay, good. So that is basically how you do that. Okay, so I've just added X and Y. I don't know if I added any explanations further. I think that is more or less it. Good. Okay, so let's go to our calculation then. So what we did is then basically you just go through the same motions calculating what your area tariff is, so that you have your area tariff that you can times to your new building's height. So I'm not going to go into how this is calculated. Make sure that you know how this is calculated and see if you can actually get to the same answer here. Okay, so let's play around a little bit with it. So then again, what you do is you just times it with your area tariff with your new volume, cubic area or cubic volume, and then you just add your P's and G's, your contingency, and then your VAT to get to your total estimated cost. Okay, and I think that's basically it. So okay, so what I'm just going to stop the video here and then I'll make a new video, but this is a a few comments. So on these calculations that we did. So the site of a new building is not the same as before. Therefore, external works should be estimated separately and the cost excluded. So you can go through this. I'm going to go through these items again in the next video. But basically, we did a very basic calculation here in this video, and then in the next video, what we're going to do is we're going to improve on that. So remember, whenever you do your task, that you will use these type of guides or comments to improve on your square meter area calculation that you will have to do for your task. So again, wink wink, nudge nudge, make sure that you understand how to improve on any estimate that you do on your for your task. Okay, thanks. That is our second little video on our examples. So the next one will try and improve on these examples that we just did.